Good afternoon. I'm Tyra Redmond with Eagle News. Today is Monday, March 28th. Despite regularly cleanups that are supposed to happen every 30 days, it will automatically change the color, just like that. Taking a brief look at weather after that cold snap, you'll like this one. All someone has to do is scan a QR code on the screen and follow the steps provided. All rules and guidelines can be found on the Tybee Island website, where all questions, concerns, and additional comments can be made. Georgia Southern University police are investigating a shooting incident at Freedom's Landing. GSU police were called to the incident around 3:30 from a concerned resident. There's been a safety notification sent out to all Georgia Southern students because of a shooting that happened here, 13B and Freedom's Landing. Officials confirmed a man, identified as not a student, had been taken to the hospital for wounds. No foul play is suspected at this time, read a campus notification. Please avoid the area. Counselors from the counseling center were on the scene to help anyone with their mental well-being and provide them with helpful resources.
Of course, this type of tragedy is always something that is unanticipated, and I would encourage people to reach out to the counseling center that's on campus. There are other resources like Be Well Eagles.
According to the GSU webpage, residents of student housing complex aren't allowed to bring firearms into campus residency, but are allowed to leave them in their cars. For some students, it'll be hard to recover from something that happened so close to the place they call home.
This just really hurts my heart, and it really traumatizes me because I'm scared to sleep at night right now, just knowing that this is going on.
The shooting will be handed over to the GBI for further investigation. For Eagle News, I'm Tyra Redmond reporting.
There are designated smoking areas on Tybee Island, but what if we told you it's a possibility smoking won't be allowed at all? Eagle News reporter Tyra Redmond was there to learn more about a potential smoking ban. Tyra, what did you find out?
Well, Asa, with nearly 500,000 smoking buds found on the island by volunteers over the past years, it's evident some guests are fed up. Let's take a look. Up a cig or blowing a vape could become completely off limits at one of Georgia's most popular beaches, Tybee Island.
I don't want to have to smell on anyone else's nicotine to get secondhand smoke.
With an increase in tourism throughout the pandemic, the beach brings around 300,000 visitors. In May 2020, a smoking ban between 14th and 16th Street went into effect. The visitors within the community are advocating for the entire beach to be smoke-free. Even some regular smokers agree with this possible ban.
I am definitely a smoker, but no, when it comes down to it, to those who don't, it's easier to remove the smokers from the equation than it is to remove the non-smokers. It's just as simple as that.
No littering is strictly enforced and considered unlawful to throw or scatter anything on the island. Regardless of the rules, cigarette butts are still seen often in the sand.
I hate cigarette smoke. I hate smelling other people's smoke. I hate seeing cigarette butts on the beach.
The smoking ban that was made in 2020 for the Pierre in between 14th and 16th Street will expire in May. City council members would then have to decide if Tybee Island will become an entire smoke-free beach. The council is set to make the final decision by April, but is asking for more public input. In the meantime, there's a survey that can be completed on the city's website and an in-person meeting happening on March 22nd at the Tybee Guardhouse. All rules and guidelines can be found on the Tybee Island website, where all questions, concerns, and additional comments can be made. Back to you, Asa.
Good afternoon. I'm Chuck Padgett with Eagle News. It's Monday, April 11th. The Senate confirmed President Joe Biden's nominee, Ketanji Brown Jackson, as the first black woman on the Supreme Court. Last Thursday, Jackson was officially sworn in as Associate Justice of the court, as Vice President Kamala Harris announced the final vote count with a 53-47 tally. After 9 years in the federal branch as a judge, Jackson will replace 83-year-old Stephen Breyer when he retires this summer. State lawmakers have left Atlanta and returned to their hometowns after the 2022 legislative session came to a close last week. The Republican-held Senate and House echoed a lot of controversial laws from other parts of the country. Eagle News' Asa Barley has details on what did and did not pass. So Asa, what did you learn?
Well, Chuck, one of the more divisive laws, so to speak, is the so-called divisive language in classrooms. or discussing race in schools. That's one of the bigger ones. But let me show you some of the others, from controversial mask mandates to ones most can agree on, a gas tax break.
The Georgia legislative session came to a close last week as the 40-day window for members of the state's legislative body to either pass or reject bills proposed by their fellow lawmakers. House Bill 304 is sure to help relieve the stress felt at the pumps, which suspends the state's motor fuel tax until May 31st. The bill also included a 29.1 cents per gallon levy on gasoline and a 32.6 cents per gallon levy on diesel. While policymakers were able to pass over a dozen new bills, some propositions will have to wait until the next session. Some of the bills that failed to pass Georgia's 2022 legislative session include allowing social media companies to censor what content is allowed on their site, the legalization of sports gambling, and how medical marijuana licenses are issued across the state. Other controversial bills that were passed included House Bill 1084, which would ban the teaching of racial concepts that some lawmakers say is divisive. House Bill 1084 also allows for state school boards to punish schools that are teaching the so-called divisive topics.
And I feel like it's important to include people from all groups. However, I feel like in a way, allowing lawmakers to decide what is and isn't talked about without, with that biased opinion, it really takes away from equal opportunities.
Another highly debated topic that was passed last week was Senate Bill 345, which would prohibit state agencies from enforcing COVID-19 vaccine mandates on its employees.
So in general, if they're requiring vaccines for other things, they should be able to require it for COVID, in my opinion. But of course, people should be able to opt out of vaccines for religious reasons like they always have been able to.
Other notable bills that were passed through this session were the Right to Farm, which provide for enhanced protections for farmers, and the Guns in Public bill, which abolishes the need for a background check and a license to carry a gun in the state.
After the 40-day session, Georgia's elected officials are now beginning to shift their attention to the 2022 midterm elections this November. Back to you, Chuck.
Still to come on Eagle News, the Statesboro Police Department receives additional pay for the staff. What other advantages will there be? And families must say goodbye to their homes forever. Stay with us.